Hi everybody, namaskar, namaskaram, sat sri akal, salam alaikum. I should like to say that today I stand here in front of all of you after 50 years of singing. 50 years, that's something. Yeah, really quite amazing. And that too, to be able to say that I started off singing as a nightclub singer, which was never thought. I mean, nobody ever imagined a lady in a sari to be in a nightclub singing the kind of songs that I did. I don't know if you mentioned that I got the Padma Shri. Give me a hand for that already. Okay. As my topic itself says, I turned all my limitations into my strengths. My first limitation, which people would think was a limitation, is my biggest strength, biggest in the whole world, being born Indian and being born woman in India. And why would anybody think that was a limitation? When you did a quick review, or a, shall I say, playback, you would probably say it was a limitation because my kind of voice just never met up with any of the beautiful singers that have so beautiful actresses that have to have that kind of a pretty voice and so pure and so white and so beautiful. But my voice was like a man and I could sing for you or you or you or you, anybody. So that was my limitation, my first limitation, being born in a South Indian traditional Orthodox family. But hey, that's been my biggest limitation, turned into a complete strength. Why I say strength, I'll tell you, because being born in India, you're already born with an amazing advantage of more than 17 basic languages. I say 17 basic languages and there are so many thousand dialects. I sing in 17 languages and for me that is my biggest strength and my biggest USP because I have never learned a note of music. So when you say a singer has never learned a note of music, then that is a limitation. That's a huge limitation, but I've never looked at it that way. I've always thought of it as a strength because if I had to, I mean, when I say all these things, I want you all to know that I come from a very middle class background. My father was in the police in Bombay. I come from a family of 6. I'm number 5 in the family, and they say 5 is lucky. I am so lucky to be with all of you today here. Yes. Now, when you look at me from top to bottom, actually, or you may look at me from side to side, it's almost the same measurement, yeah? But who cares? Now that's a limitation, isn't it? But then it worked for me. It worked for me because most people would think that if you're a nightclub singer, then you've got to have that kind of a body that goes like so, and you have to wear the black number and have a lovely cleavage, which I have none to talk about. Well, that was a limitation, but then I turned it into a strength. Ladies and gentlemen, thank God for the sari. It covers up so much, right? And it's so beautiful, the most dignified and graceful dress in the whole world, ladies and gentlemen, the sari. Many people, when I go abroad, when I'm announced first, they, why in abroad, even here, when I go abroad and somebody insists that I should sing, there would be one Indian or maybe 2 Indians, or maybe the organizer says we've got a singer who's come in from India, and we wanted to sing, and you'll find that most people say, oh God, what's she going to sing? You know? There's a kind of a buzz. And then my first line, when I get onto the stage, I say, I'm not as bad as I look. I'm a compulsive optimist. Compulsive. I'm only here to look, I'm talking about myself, I'm only here to look at the wonderful things in life, because if you want to, there is so many horrible things that are happening every second in our country, in this world, in our own lives. So why go looking out for horrible things that there are there? Look for the wonderful things. Look for the great things, that if you had a voice like mine and if you were thrown out of class because my teacher couldn't fit me anywhere, she said, Sami, you have such a bass voice. I can't put you with the bass, I can't put you with the contralto, I can't put you with the soprano, not with the alto, but she knew I had music in me. So she gave me the percussion to play, ding, 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 or clap, 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 and I was very happy with all that. So what did it do for me? It never made me feel bad or frustrated. I was just so happy being whoever I was and whatever I got. When we talk about whatever I got, coming from a middle class family. I keep saying that all the time in all my, what do you call them? Inspirational speeches, yeah? I keep saying that we were so happy in our times, yeah? We had 2 pairs of uniforms, one for the washing, one for the wearing, and we were so happy. But I ironed my own clothes, and I was always turned out well in school. And we had 2 pairs of shoes, one black, one white, and white was called tennis shoes, and you polished them with a thing called Blanco. I don't know if all of you are very rich and you did have lots of many shoes, but we didn't. We had 2 pairs of shoes. I mean, you know, what do you say? Korechify it, as you say it in Tamil. But I don't know if there are any South Indians over here. Yeah, you put some water and put it on your shoe and it becomes white and you're happy. But today's kids, they've got exposure to so many different kinds of clothes and so many different kinds of footwear and everything else. So it's good for them. I'm not saying it's bad for them because, like my daughter says, Amma, don't talk like a history book. So I'm not talking like a history book. I'm very, very happy in my skin, very comfortable in my skin, and I'm happy from the place that I've come. Really, it gives you values that you should be happy with what you got. And I am so happy with what I've got. When you say out of the box, what does that mean? As I said, my childhood was the way it was. I went to a convent school. Medium of teaching was English. Second language was Hindi. Third language was Marathi. I was from Bombay. And fourth language was French. And at home, we spoke a little bit of Tamil. So already we were exposed as Indians to 5 languages. Isn't that amazing? Whereas in different countries, it's just that one. Over here, we have 17. So why don't we take advantage of that? In fact, I keep telling people like Nikita and everybody, you know, expand, learn all the languages, you'll get more shows. I mean, without any formal training, have got so many shows, all from north to south, east to west, only because of my languages, not because I'm such a fantastic singer. I've never said that. But hey, music's not my business, communication is. So for all of you who feel that you have a limitation somewhere, forget about it. Everybody has a limitation. Turn it into your strength. Somehow or the other, it will work. So then what do I do with a face like mine? Am I going to change it? Am I going to do? No, I was very happy with the way I look because, yeah, I'm happy with the way I look. I don't know what reason. For some time, I looked at myself in the mirror and I started saying, you know, hey, God, did you really make this? And then I found that I had a sense of humor. So that changed my whole perspective. And I knew that if you didn't call me to sing, to be a singer somewhere, at least you'll give me a job as a stand-up comedian. So all my weaknesses keep turning into strengths. Another big limitation that I had was the voice, the kind of voice that I had. So in nightclubs, it was acceptable, but nightclubs per se were not acceptable in India. And it was only the men who were seen in nightclubs. But when I came on, all the women became my best friends because they knew with a face and a body like mine, I was no danger to their husband. So they became my friends, and that limitation that I had soon became a family place, the nightclub. And ladies and gentlemen, how proud I feel to say that I am the one who changed that whole scene. You would never have seen a lady otherwise in a nightclub, yeah? And then what happened to my bindi? Now that many people would say, why do you wear a bindi? Why is it like that? Why is it like that? Because I come from a middle-class family, and how happy I am for the bindi because it's become part of that so-called packaging or whatever they call it, you know, marketing, strategy. It's none of that. It's only because my amma wore a pottu, my grandmother wore it, my sisters wore it, and it's part of our Indian psyche to wear it. And soon the sizes changed, the colors changed. So that's another limitation, you would say, to the kind of dress that you wear and the kind of imagery that a normal nightclub singer or a concert singer would have. So it became so fantastic that people everywhere now are, thinking about the bindi, and there are talks about it and what it means and why does it. So it became a strength for me. And the flowers in my hair. Flowers in the hair are so beautiful. And people would have thought that this is a limitation because you cannot wear flowers if you go to Rajasthan. In the middle of nowhere, where are you going to get flowers? So I made that into a strength of mine, and I went to a lady who lives in Behala, and she made these beautiful flowers, which are actually not even paper. They're made out of cloth. And now, yeah, she's fantastic. So everybody, I've even given all these flowers to people like Hema Malini, all the dancers, you know, who wear good flowers. And I think it's so fantastic that I could do something out of what was so plain, so plain. Just put your hair at the back and tie it up. And many people would say, hey, can't you do something to glam up? I didn't know what it was to be glamorous or sexy or this or that or the other. All I knew was to be little old me. And then it came to the sari. When I started wearing sari, people would say that this was a limitation to be standing in a sari and performing in a nightclub. But then it turned out to be a strength, because even though I couldn't afford to buy very expensive saris or anything like that, I wore whatever was at home, and I was happy with that. I well turned out with that. But I made beads and, you know, things like that with a hand. And oh yeah, I hope you like all the rings. It's lovely. So I made all these things happen so that now people think it's a big fashion statement, but truly it isn't. Truly it isn't. It's just that it's my limitation, which I turned into a strength, which has become so, so successful. And I think for all the girls who think that this is not right about yourself, that's not right about, main thing is to believe in yourself and dream. Dream big, really big. So what happened about all the way, all through the years, say 20, 30 years into my singing, I was standing every night and singing in the nightclub, sometimes 3 hours, sometimes, and you take a high bar stool and you're sitting on that and singing. Now, am I going to sit and cry about that and say that, look, it's hurting me, when it takes its toll on you, you know, sometime or the other. So I decided to wear sneakers. And I was walking in the morning with sneakers, and my daughter said, why don't you wear Kanjivaram sneakers? Why don't you wear sneakers? So I had 2 pairs of sneakers, and I was wearing it with the sari. And now, I must check. There are lots of women in the airport, you'll find now, lots of ladies who wear sneakers. And I'm not saying that they have all followed me, but somewhere in their mind they feel it's okay. Somewhere you have to realize that it's okay. It's okay, that's me, that's all I can do. So I started, then I said, why can't I change it into looking nice? And so I made the Kanjivaram sneaker, which I will show you by and by. You can't see because this thing is over here and there's no curve. Okay. So then I said, why not? And then I said, let me go back to sitting and showing you the lovely sneakers. Now these sneakers, why would I say that this is a limitation? Because for people who have to, whatever job you're doing, if you're a teacher or if you're a lawyer or who you know, or in my profession, then you have to stand for hours and hours and hours. I know Amitabh Bachchan uses 6 chairs because his legs are that much longer, but I use 2 VIP chairs, those plastic chairs, and I feel very good about it. But, ladies and gentlemen, I have to tell you that when you have an optimistic mind, you know, if you really are optimistic and really are happy to say that this is what God has given you and you believe in yourself and exactly what you're doing, you really don't have to worry. Don't feel badly about it, because you can just turn it into the biggest strength that you ever had. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you that because I had the limitation of a voice like mine, I used to get all the bad girl songs in the film. You can clap if you want to. I also feel that if you really, really think about it, we are not the people who are in the box, actually. It's the people's minds that are so closed, and they feel, and this has all been fed to them for years, that a woman has to be like so pure. I can't think about the word pure. I mean, what is the definition of pure, really? I know I'm very pure. I know I'm terribly pure. And sometimes I wonder why, but I am pure. But I'm saying, what is the definition? So they think that, okay, it's got to have Lata Mangeshkar's voice, you know, that pure girl who's got all the troubles in the world. Her father has died, her husband has left her, the babies are coughing, and, you know, the lover is doing something. So every sadness in the world, everything about her is so sad. But while she's walking in the forest and all those, thorns are pricking her feet, perfect voice of Lata Mangeshkar. How is it possible? It's impossible with so much of pain and so much of sadness that you could sing so pitch perfect. But that's what we have been fed with for all these years. For so many years we've been fed with this. But then comes a voice like mine, and then what do they do with it? They give it only to the bad girls. All the bad girls, all the cabaret girls, they get my voice, you know. But then I'm probably the only Indian female artist who has sung for a man, and I've sung for Mithun Chakravarti. So do I get a clap for that? Or, you know? Yeah. So it's been quite an exciting thing to know that a limitation can become your strength, and so can become your USP. Now people are expecting all the time to listen to a voice like mine, but today the exposure is so fantastic. I come from a time when there were, like most of you probably, were only 6 singers in the whole of India, only 6. Mohammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar, Asha Bhosle, Lata Mangeshkar, Manna Da and Mukesh. Bas, ho gayi baat. In such a big country. But today you see the platforms have opened up, the doors, the windows, and you can see beautiful singers, lovely voices. Like Nikita Gandhi, we have so many amazing young singers who never got a chance. I didn't get a chance, but I was not frustrated. I was very happy doing what I was, and I started as a nightclub singer, a live singer, a concert singer, and because I was singing live, that people like R.D. Burman or Devanand Saab or Navketan Unit came to listen to me. And they asked me whether I would sing in their project Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. So you see, when you are not ashamed, or you are not shy or not embarrassed by the way you look or by the way you are, then everything works for you. Everything works for you, and I've seen it happening to me. It's worked for me, and I advocated to everybody over here, especially the girls. Every woman's issue is a man's issue, actually. And instead of just fighting all the time with the man, it's much easier, much easier to walk with the man hand in hand and be able to say, hey. So people ask me, so how did your husband help you? And I say, by not helping. He never interfered in my life, never. And that was so amazing. And I'd never be able to do anything if I did not have the support and the strong infrastructure of a fantastic family that supported me right through and through. So I do believe you have a dream, dream big, you believe in yourself and your family, and know that no matter what happens, if your own people love you, the rest of the world will. Now let me show you my sneakers, okay? It's really quite cool, and the youngsters say, it's so cool, and they say it's so swag. But ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, 50 years of singing, you all must be calculating how old I am. I'm 72 years old, and I'm feeling so good about it. So young. Yeah. So, this is just part of it. There are lots and lots of things which you can make your... Don't feel bad about who you are and why you are. Just don't feel bad about who you are and how you look. When I was born, God asked me, do you want a good body or do you want a good voice? I said, I want a good body, that's why I look like this. So, girls and boys, on your way today, remember what I've said. There have been lots and lots, I'm not a sensational copy, but there have been lots and lots of ups and downs in my life, just like every other woman. Just like every other person. Sometimes the highs were more, sometimes the lows were really low, but the most important thing is to be able to smile on your way and carry on. That's the only way. So remember, make your weaknesses and limitations your strengths, and you will find that tomorrow is going to be absolutely beautiful. Thank you.